Billy from Busch Gardens Tampa Bay, back for the first time since May 2017. Although it's not quite the first time, because we were here last night for the Howl-O-Scream event as well, and that will be included in this video after we've done our theme park day vlog. But first, we're going to be concentrating on things like Iron Gwazi, Shikra, Kumba, Montu, Tigris, and the many more fantastic rides that this park has. Last time I was here, Shikra was closed. I've not stopped complaining about it since. Did manage to get on it last night during the Howl-O-Scream event. Looking forward to doing it in the daytime though. Same with Iron Gwazi, looking forward to seeing what it's like in the day. We're going to start today by going on the second newest ride here, which is Tigris, a Premier Rides. It's one of those sky loop coasters, it does a full shuttle. And then we're going to do Shikra after that, and then we're just going to go from there. But just to mention again what we're going to be doing in terms of the video, we're going to cover most of this park as much as we can. We're going to try and do all the coasters. We're going to try and go on the log flume, try and go on the rapids, and then once we've come to the end of what will be the day here, once it's park closed basically, I believe 6 o'clock today, that's when in this video will become Busch Gardens Howl-O-Scream, where we can't show you inside the mazes. I did email the park, they did say no filming in the mazes. They have now put on the website you can film, but without any external lighting. So to walk through a scare maze with no external lighting, we might as well film in a pocket. So I am disappointed. I didn't know there was the opportunity, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. We've still got over, well, I don't know exactly how much, but we've got a good amount of scare zone footage, and we did a review about Howl-O-Scream at the end of last night. So enough from me for now. Let's go and get on those coasters. I don't know if it's picking up the audio from Shikra, which is currently behind Mark. But yeah, we can take you on the rides with us today. We are allowed to film on ride POVs, which is excellent. So let's get started. Okay, we're off.
So we just come off Tigris. Not really a great coaster for me anyway. I think the restraints kind of ruin it with a horrible vest, and that lap bar restraint just doesn't work for me anyway. I mean, the launches are quite alright and you do get a good pop of airtime, but it's not a great coaster for me anyway. Now it's on to Shikra.
There we go, Shikra. Noisy that lift still, mate. Don't know if they still do it, but Busch Gardens used to do like walk-arounds at the top of here and the lift and stuff. Would be good to do it. Here we are then.
Fun that.
Just pick it up from Mark then. Been on Tigris. I'd agree with what Mark was saying. It'd actually be alright if it had different trains. It's just uncomfortable on your legs and I don't get those shoulder collars. What is that all about? Anyway, we've been on Sheikah as well. Like I was saying earlier on, I was missed out on it in May 2017. I remember getting to this area of the park and being absolutely gutted when it was closed, because I'd only done Oblivion and Baron, is it 1898 at Efteling at that point, and I was just devastated. But now I've been on it. Great dive coaster, the best B&M dive coaster. The old school B&M restraints definitely make a difference. I don't know how that is so much better than all the modern ones since, but it is just so much better. Don't know where we're going to go next, but it is so warm today that I am tempted to just sit on the log flume all day because it is roasting. Absolutely boiling. So we're going to go and have a go on the rapids, the Congo River Rapids. Now, funny story about this type of water ride. It's got the same boats as the rapids that were at Six Flags St. Louis when we went there in June, and we packed that with what we would call a PVE big boat, and there was water flooding in to the point where we were actually quite scared about having to be evac'd. So I think we're just being marking it. We should be okay, but the water shoes are going on because you never know how wet it's going to get.
Why me? There we go. There we go. Not Infinity Falls, you know. Relatively uneventful so far. Spoke too soon, didn't it, with that? I'll be honest. Even that didn't get us. Like sprinkling.
Next up is going to be Scorpion Schwarzkopf Silver Arrow roller coaster that opened here in 1980. Now the POV on this might not be the best because there's quite a high bar in front of where you sit. We will try and get a front row on it though, and yeah, looking forward to it I suppose. These things aren't particularly rough, they just, when they hit the brakes, it's almost like a car crash to be honest, because you hit the brakes so hard, but usually they're quite smooth coasters. So let's go.
Bit is open. Just seen it in the distance. Right, anyway, enough of that. It's Scorpion. Would make a nice spot for either some fountains or a boomerang or something. Not very pleasant. Following on from Scorpion, we've walked straight over to Sand Serpent, which is a Wild Mouse type of coaster. I think it's a Mach 1, but I'll confirm that after we've been on and done a bit of a review of this and Scorpion. And then after that, we're hoping that Coomber will have opened, because it has had some downtime this morning and we're both eager to get on it. But for now, let's go and do the Sand Serpent.
Slide down to your waist. Secure all the sides.
Serpent. Not my type of ride, these.
So we just done both rides now in this area. Start off with the one behind us, and it's just not very good. Honestly, I didn't really like it. It just seems to throw you from side to side, and it's just not very good. They can put something better. I don't know why it's here. You know, in this park with so many good coasters around, and then you've got this. They could put something better to use than ride that. It's not very well operated. It's only got the one train. You know, obviously it's not got a big queue, but nah, get without it. Get without it. The Wild Mouse, not for me. I don't think it was very good. There was nothing wild as such about it. It just seemed to go around corners, and then that was it really. So not much more to say on it. Like, they could replace it with something a modern family ride rather than them two, surely.
Yeah, just picking up from what Mark's saying there. I'll start with Scorpion. May have heard some of my comments when we were going around on the ride. Not a fan of the old Schwarzkopfs. I always find that, like, a lot of people loved the Arrows and the Schwarzkopfs, and I think the Arrows, even though a lot of people find that they're rough, I think the Arrows have aged better than Schwarzkopfs. I think part of the thing is they don't come into the brake run slamming you, but also it's just, nah, I think, but there's so many new and decent rides out there now. When you think like a park like Busch Gardens with Scorpion and Sand Serpent, they're both probably outstayed their welcome in a park like this. And this is a very, very good theme park. There is some excellent ride hardware here, but things like Scorpion and Sand Serpent just not very good. And I think with like the Vekomas and the Intamins and the Gerstlauer family rides out there, I know it means spending a lot of money, and we're just on the back of the pandemic and everything, but I feel like they're overdue replacing. They weren't very good in 2017, and they're definitely not very good now, and I think that people would be happy to see them replaced with new modern roller coasters, which, alright, they'll cost money. This park has been spending a lot of money in the last couple of years, and clearly they're looking to improve the park with things like Tigris and with Iron Gwazi, and just generally spending money on things like the Halloween event as well. You could just tell that they're putting a lot of money into the park, and hopefully next time I come here they'll have changed Scorpion and Sand Serpent with some nice new family coasters. Next up is going to be Coomber, the B&M sit-down looping roller coaster that opened at this park in April 1993. The last time I was here, we were able to lap it basically because it was so quiet that there was just an empty station, and they were just letting me and Becca stay on it, and I think we did like 7 or 8 in the back row. I remember coming off it at the end and my head was just like tingling. So yeah, looking forward to getting on it, hoping it's not got as rough as Dragon Con, hoping it runs like Coomba did the other day. Not Coomba, Kraken, this is Coomba. So I'm hoping it runs like Kraken, because if it does, it will be cracking. Let's go.
Here we go, Coomba. B&M Heritage. There we go. Still incredible. That is as good as I remember it being 5 years ago.
Yeah, I just forced myself to
We've finally taken a ride on Coomba after its downtime this morning. Gotta be honest, with how Dragon Con has aged at Portaventura, it's a similar ride, similar age. I thought Coomba's not going to be as good as I remember, but it is as smooth as silk. It is glass smooth, it's very intense, no head banging, it's just proper old school B&M coaster that does everything it was designed and engineered to do. It's just a masterclass in roller coasters, it really is. It's still one of the best rides, I think. Probably still one of the best rides in the Florida state, to be honest. It's just incredible. Really, really enjoyed it. I was so worried that it would be rubbish compared to how it was 5 years ago, but I just hope we got time for a back row ride on it later on, but we've still got a couple of creds to do. Not sure where we're going to go next, but before we do move on, we'll hear from Mark.
Honestly, I really enjoyed Coomba. It's just a classic old school B&M. Intense, texty inversion's great, and like you say, that has aged really, really well, considering like 93. Older than Nemesis, older than Dragon Con, it's still running just as good. There's no headbanging at all on it. It's just a great fun ride, and I was genuinely worried. So I remember like when we did Dragon Con back in 2019, and it bounced down that first drop. Whereas that, honestly, it's running like it had just opened. Realistically, it's just honestly, I was genuinely surprised by how good it was. It is one of the best coasters in Florida that I've done so far anyway.
Next up, we're going to hit two of the coasters. We've got Cobra's Curse, which is a max spinning roller coaster. That opened here in, I think it was 2017. So it was new the last time we came to this park. Wasn't a massive fan of it, if I remember rightly. I can't remember why. I do think that the snake that was in the queue line, not the animatronic one, the actual real snake that was massive behind the glass, I think that might have spooked me and had something to do with it, to be honest. That might sound silly, but snakes just, no. As an example, when we saw one at a scare event once with a snake charmer, I ran the other way, literally ran. And then we've got Monty, which I'm going to have to check our CDB for this one, because I know that it's old. Montu is a B&M invert that opened in 1996. I do remember thinking that it was very thrilling last time, but it was quite rough on the ears. So we'll do a POV on both, we'll hit them both, one after, I don't know what order, but we'll do the two POVs back to back and then we'll review them together as well. So, time to go.
off Cobra's Curse. No, it's not a bad family ride. You know, it does what it needs to. It gives a little bit of thrill for the families. It's not the most, it's not a proper thrill ride, but you know what? It does a job from a step up from, you know, little kiddie credit to this before getting onto the likes of Quasi and Chica. So just does a job for the park, I think.
Here we go, Montu. Painted like a Batman coaster these days. Significantly better than it was 5 years ago. I don't know what they've done, but that is so much better.
Montu. I didn't know what to think about it going into the ride, but honestly, when I was on it, it is so intense. It is, for me, possibly could be up there as the best B&M invert. It was running incredibly well. The proper foot tingling down that first drop, all the way through, and even off the ride, you were still getting the foot tingles. It was so good. Honestly, I was really surprised by how good it was. It really is a standout at this park.
Cobra's Curse then. The big snake was still in the queue line. Luckily didn't have to stand and wait next to it this time. It really was walk on. It wasn't a case of just walking through the whole queue line and getting straight on. Do you know what? It's not a bad ride. It does what it needs to do. It's not special, but it's a good family coaster, and I'm sure when my little boys big enough to go on coasters like that, I'll appreciate them even more for what they are. Montu, ridiculous. I mean, 2017 it was a head basher. It was like an SLC. Not this time, smooth as anything. I think the Batman B&M inverts are the best ones, but I actually think Montu's up there with them. I think it really is an excellent coaster. I don't know what they've done, whether they've got different wheel compounds, completely, I don't know, done something with the trains. I really don't know what they've done, but it's just, compared to 5 years ago, my memory of it 5 years ago is a head-banging, unpleasant B&M invert. Now, it's one of the best, probably one of the best rides in America that I've done so far. Fantastic coaster, really good. We're going to go straight over to Cheetah Hunt because it's going to start raining shortly, so we're going to do Cheetah Hunt and we'll review that one shortly.
So we just come off a cheetah hunt. It's one of them where when you come into the park, everyone knows that cheetah hunt is here. I went in with high expectations on the ride. I thought, you know, launch coasters are my thing, and it's like, you know what, could be good this, but it just wasn't. I found it quite dull. Like, yeah, there's launches and then
Beach experience on YouTube.
and then it just goes into these long, like, corners that don't offer any forces. It just seems to like meander around and not do an awful lot. And then you get a launch into a bit of an airtime hill, and then it again meanders around basically to the brake run. It just didn't do anything for me. I thought it was in all honesty, I was disappointed with it. I remember thinking halfway around, I was like, this isn't very good, this is it really. And that's it, just didn't do anything for me at all.
Can't remember off the top of my head what I said about Cheetah Hunt in 2017, but since then I've done a lot of launch coasters, whether it be Mack, Vekoma, Intamin, Premier Rides, Gerstlauer. Done a lot of launch coasters since 2017, and I think Cheetah Hunt's probably one of the weakest. I think when we were on the ride, or when we just come off the ride, Mark actually said to me it reminded him of Millennium Force in terms of it had all the attributes to be very good, but it just isn't. It's not a bad coaster, it just doesn't do a lot. Like, you compare it to the likes of Maverick, Taron, Velocicoaster, coasters like that, and you just think it doesn't do anything. And I know that Pleasure Beach used Cheetah Hunt as a bit of a sort of inspiration, one of the many inspirations towards Icon, and I've got to say Icon's like a world-class thrill coaster compared to Cheetah Hunt, and I don't think Icon fits that bill either. So I think for me, one of the weaker launch coasters out there now, but I think it's because time's not been kind to it. Since that was built, Intamin have upped their game, and so many other manufacturers have upped their game. So I just think at the time it was probably elite when it opened, but now it's just not that good, I'm afraid. But I still think it's a perfect ride for this type of park. It fits in so well into the surroundings. The trains are well designed. I don't dislike it, it's just not very good. That's the best way I can put it. Next up then, it's going to be Iron Gwazi. A little bit of history on this coaster. It used to be called Gwazi. It used to be a dueling wooden roller coaster that opened in, get this right, 1999 and closed in 2015. I believe that the trains were changed at some point in between those years, and a lot of people who were familiar with the ride said that the change of the trains actually ruined the ride and started to really have an impact on the structure. So like I say, it closed in 2015. Everyone expected that it'd just get removed, and then of course when RMC started to become more well known, everyone was asking for it to be RMC'd, and then Busch Gardens answered the RMC call eventually with it opening, well, I didn't realise it actually opened this year, I thought it was the end of last year. So it opened in March 2022, and yeah, it's well loved. We really enjoyed it yesterday. Good to get on it now in the daytime with its 10-minute queue. We're definitely going to go for a front row ride, try and get a POV on it, and just see how things go from there.
I'll just take some on the
Here we go. the best RMC. There's no doubt about it.
Mate, it's still hauling.
It is still hauling. It might actually be the best ride in the world.
So, just come off the incredible Iron Gwazi. I don't think words can do it justice because that thing is an absolute machine. It just goes through the elements so well and just takes them. It's just such a good ride. Honestly, there's airtime, there's the death roll. It's just unbelievable. It's just a great coaster. And when you're coming round and everyone like on the brake run is like, that is ace, that is ace, that is ace, that is ace. It's just one of, honestly, it might be the best coaster on the planet at the moment. It is just so good. Like I said, it just takes every single element so well, and it just seems to go on forever as well. It's just absolute dream of a coaster.
Here I am, the guy that used to moan about RMCs. Been on 8 of them now. Iron Gwazi is clearly the best one. I don't know, like Mark said, I don't know how you can justify it in words. It's just an out of this world experience. It's not loaded with airtime like Steel Vengeance, but I think that's why it's better, because I do like airtime. But with these, it's not always comfortable, but this has a bit of everything. It's got a great first drop, great inversion, near misses with its own structure, little pops of airtime that don't absolutely batter your thighs. It's just an elite roller coaster. I honestly think it might be the world's best roller coaster. I don't say that lightly, because there is some really good roller coasters out there in the world. Think about things like the Voyage, like Steel Vengeance, for me Magnum XL200, Velocicoaster, there is Taron even. There's just incredible roller coasters all over the world, but just got to call it Steel Gwazi then. Iron Gwazi, one of the best in the world, if not the best, and I am so glad to have had the opportunity to go on it. Like I said when the intro that we were going on it, I remember coming here in 2017, it was all boarded off, looked beyond repair, to be honest. It looked like it was done for good. It didn't look like it was ever going to reopen or be converted, let's say. But here we are, back as Iron Gwazi, and it is an elite roller coaster. And RMC, they are just bonkers. In the greatest and nicest possible way, they are bonkers, and they keep providing us fantastic roller coasters all over the world, except for the UK. Hopefully soon we're going to see one a bit closer to home. But for now, I don't know what the plan is. I've only got one coaster left to do, which is Air Grover. That's I don't even know if it's open. That's one of the family really little coasters, shameless cred as we like to call it. So at this point, I'm just going to say, let's see where the rest of today takes us.
Here we go, Air Grover, shameless cred of the day.
Coming to the end of our daytime part of this video, but before we do, we're going to go on the, I think it's called Stanley Falls log flume. I did that in 2017, and I think I did like 3 or 4 laps on it because I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed cooling down on it, and I need to cool down again. I don't know what I look like on camera, but I'm anticipating when I watch this back I'll look like a sweaty mess, because I am boiled. It is so humid, so warm. If you've ever been here or Animal Kingdom before, you'll know how warm this park gets, and it is one of those really humid, warm days. It's just no breeze at all, and I'm not complaining because it's been cold at home the last few days before we came here. So it's time to do the log flume, and then me and Mark will have a good chat about what we think about this park in the daytime.
Upright, hold on tight, and brace for a sudden slowdown at the bottom of the hill.
be an arrow log flume scraping on the bottom. It's raucous now. Here we go, first drop, or first big drop anyway. No splash. This has to be an arrow, has to be. If anybody knows, please let us know in the comments.
Correctamente.
Sit upright, hold on tight, and brace for a sudden slowdown at the bottom of the hill. Thank you.
Por favor, siéntense correctamente y sujétense bien fuerte para una caída más rápida que se detendrá en el fondo de la curva. Gracias.
I guess Mark got wet then. Slightly damp.
I got soaked on the old log flume. You came up all right, and I just seemed to get battered by a wave, as per usual normally when I'm on a water ride.
What did you think of your day?
Today has been a very good day. Very, I've just enjoyed the whole park. It's just a fabulous park. It's got absolutely, quality coasters, Montu, Shikara, obviously Iron Gwazi. It's just been a nice park to visit. It's got a good atmosphere about the place. Obviously it's been quiet today, which has helped things, but honestly, it's just been a darn good day. Obviously, highlight is Iron Gwazi. It's just absolutely phenomenal coaster. And the night rides that we had on it last night, especially that front row ride, it was just, honestly, it was out of this world how good it was. It's just relentless. Even before when we was on it in the day, and it seemed to be hauling right from then, and honestly, I'm speechless still. I can't get my words to describe how good of an experience that is. From the moment he crests that lift hill, it just doesn't want to stop. It just sets the elements very well, and like I said, that death roll is just, honestly, I don't know how they came up with it, but it just works. It really does. And you know what? Coming out to Florida, come to this park, come to it, experience it, and obviously have a few laps on Gwazi.
I think I've got a new #1 roller coaster. I've got to be honest. I think Iron Gwazi, best roller coaster in the world. I wouldn't say it's my favourite. My favourite still is held by Magnum and the big one. They are my two favourite coasters in the whole world. I anticipate that and appreciate that they're not the best coasters in the world, but to me, they're my favourites, and they are some of the best coasters because of what they mean in terms of nostalgia to me. But in terms of actual what is the best ride, then it has to be Iron Gwazi. It's unrivaled. It's the best roller coaster in the world. There's no doubt about it. It's just, it does things that no other roller coaster does. It has got, obviously got some elements of what other RMCs do, but it just does them better, and it's just a better ride than any other RMC out there. And it's not like a little bit better, it's a lot better. It is the best RMC. I thought after yesterday when we did it in the dark that today it'd be quite underwhelming. So a lot of the time coasters are better in the dark than they are in the day, but it's almost like it was running all night and through to today, because it's just still hauling. I think it is a great way of describing it. Airtime, versions, intensity, incredible. The only issue with RMCs, something needs doing about the restraints, because it just, there is not one RMC in the world that's operated well, and it's not because of the staff, it's because they're just not a very easy ride to work on, I don't think, in terms of the restraints with the seat belts first, lap bar second, but that could change in the future. We'll just have to see what happens in the next couple of years. This park has been a bit refreshing today actually. It's almost served as a reminder that Cedar Point's not the be all and the end all. For me, Cedar Point was like, I have to go, I always have to go to it. Obviously the pandemic stopped that, but it's like I have to go every year. And Busch Gardens has been a nice reminder today that actually Cedar Point has been put back in its place a little bit, because I actually think this park's got better coasters and it's got a really nice feel about it. I think if Top Thrill Dragster was still open, just got getting attacked by flies. If Top Thrill Dragster was still open, I'd maybe feel differently. But I think just all in all, it's been a nice reminder that Cedar Point is not the only good park in the world, and it's nice to come to places like Busch Gardens after 5 years and experience all the sort of magic that this park brings with it. It's got an excellent lineup of coasters, it's got some great supporting rides. I wouldn't call it great, but one of the supporting rides is closed, Falcon's Fury. Yes, don't have to go on it. Mark was well happy when he saw the sign saying it was closed today. Just all in all, an excellent theme park, and when you do come out here, hire a car, come to this park. If you don't drive, use one of the shuttle buses, come here, experience all this park has to offer, because you won't be let down. I still think I might stick with my opinion from 2017 that this is the best park in Florida, but we'll see what happens when we go to Universal tomorrow and the 2 days that follow that. But now it's time to show you a little bit of what to expect if you come here for Busch Gardens Howl-O-Scream. There's not a lot of it to show you because it was very dark after a very short period of time that we were here, but it is worth watching if you're interested in Halloween stuff. It's not like a feature-length video showing you the Halloween stuff. It is like 10-15 minutes, not even that, just a little glimpse of what you can expect if you come here for Halloween.
Where is it?
want that tender, juicy army! Hold them down for me, missy! I'm gonna pluck those eyelets from that pretty little face of his. It'll be your head next! Give her a leg! I need a new head for meat!
What's to join me? There be no parley on my ship.
Mouths to feed, and we're starving for some fresh meat!
That's all it takes. I have any offers. 80 takers. Going once, going twice. So, to the highest bidder of only 50 men.
Tiny.
With fuel prices being so high this summer, Vin Diesel changed his name to Vin Electric. What? Ooh, hey, Doc, did you hear about Johnny Depp? No. Well, Amber Heard.
Kill me.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Monkey box.
Does this help you with the ladies?
It helps with these ladies. Hollywood/Tampa. If universal healthcare looked like that, I bet Congress would pay for it.
Feast your icon of the entertainment world. And we clearly need some direction.
Ooh, here, Doc. I've got the clap. Board. Lights.
Oh,
Camera.
what am I?
And action.
Oh, I'm gonna get... I am honored.
Oh, you're on her. I'm on him. Everybody's satisfied.
I am honored to finally be recognized for my extraordinary gifts. You see, I recently auditioned for the new Thor movie, and when I did not get the part, I asked the director, Taika, why TT? And he responded, because TT. And these are words of wisdom that I have carried with me to this day.
And it's tricky to rock around, that's right on time, it's tricky. Here I come now, watch out, here I come now. I'm a shut.
I finally learned that a team is only as big as its smallest member.
Please leave my member out of this.
Therefore, instead of claiming the star on the Walk of Fame to myself, I'd like to share it with all of you! This band of misfits has been together through 6 Jennifer Lopez marriages.
Well, now at the end of an absolutely fantastic night at Busch Gardens. What an event that Howl-O-Scream is. It's just it's just phenomenal. The scare zones are just next level because they've got the light in there and they use the dark and they've got bungee cords, everything, you name it. They're just absolutely quality. The actors and they're just so good, you know, and the music and the audio around it literally just adds that little bit to each of those scare zones, and they're all unique and different, and they'll normally like put two like close together. It's so well done, like, you know, going through like graveyards and voodoo. Absolutely incredible. Then you got the mazes. Now, probably the weakest maze is the Christmas one. Wasn't the best, but even in that one, like, you know, you still got the smells, you still got feeling cold. But the other 4 mazes, absolutely phenomenal. Honestly, the maze level are just brilliant. Actors with distraction scares, bungees, just absolutely fantastic mazes, and obviously you get to ride the nights, and what a great show as well. The Fiends was, you know, it's just a well put together mazes. But even like outside of that, when you're walking around them, you've got the lights just enough and there's no generator noise. It's just a little bit of light just lighting the pathway, and they just change the audio slightly. It just adds to the atmosphere around the whole park. And honestly, like, if you're here or you're thinking about coming to Florida in September and doing Halloween Horror Nights, make sure this is on the list, because it is must do, along with SeaWorld last night. Absolutely brilliant. Them two are just must do events when you're coming out here.
Just gonna echo what Mark said. It's one of the best Halloween events I've ever done. Theme park Halloween events are sometimes not as good as what you would expect when the standalone events that are usually on a farm, but this one is up there. It's got everything. The scare mazes, I have made some notes, so I should probably get those out. My zip's broke, I can't believe it. You can tell we don't do anything scripted, even if John Bell will say otherwise. Anyway, right, let's start with the residents. That was the first maze we did, Christmas theme one. I've got it wrote down here. It was good sets, but lacked scares. The disappointing thing for me with that one was I was third in the group, and the 2 people in front of me were obviously pass holders because they were pointing at the scares before they happened, and they were acknowledging actors, and, you know, it was a little bit annoying. We've done a lot of scare mazes and like at home that we've been to a lot where we'll know people in the mazes, and we'll never let on that we know those people when we're in a maze. I just think that it's the wrong thing to do if you're going for a scare maze. If you know the actors or not, they're doing their job, and don't try and have a conversation with them halfway around the maze. Anyway, Stranglewood Estate, I think it was like an old classic house. Kind of reminded me of the Terror of the Towers at Alton Towers back in the day, that kind of maze. Great set pieces, great scares. When we did that one, I thought, yeah, this event is going to be good. We'd done the scare zones at that point, but we did that maze. We waited about 5 minutes. It's like, yeah, this is going to be a good night. Deathwater Bayou, packed with jump scares, distractions before the big scares came, and it was a very creepy setting. The Witch of the Wood, lulled into thinking this was going to be a weak maze. The scares just weren't there for the first quarter, and then bang, after that it was jump scare heavy, and they were good scares as well. Really, really good and excellent set pieces, and just the smell, some of the smells vile, which is good. And the last one is one I kept getting the name wrong. I'm not going to repeat it on camera. Mark will probably drop the camera. It's called The Forgotten. It's like a messed up nightclub theme. It's got a lot of dodgy sexual references in it, and certain fetishes that people would probably enjoy if they saw it, but it was a weird scare maze, but wow, it was packed with jump scares. Really good, and yes, the set pieces were very well done. It was like a nightclub. Really, really well done. I couldn't name the scare zones off the top of my head. I honestly can't remember what they were called. They were all brilliant. The actors, every single actor at this event was incredible. Oh, and the Fiends show, some of the jokes, I didn't catch them all on camera, but some of them were so cheesy. It's just funny. It was just a funny event. We were able to get pictures with the medical professionals at the end as well, which was good. And yeah, absolutely fantastic event. Look, When everyone talks about Florida at this time of the year, they all think about Universal and Halloween Horror Nights. Busch Gardens and SeaWorld, you've got to do them as well. Don't just focus it all on Halloween Horror Nights, Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween or whatever it's called at Disney. You have to do Busch Gardens. It is an elite Halloween event. Many thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next PE video.